why his next phone won't run on BlackBerry's own operating system. BlackBerry takes a beating. Shares slumped today after the company posted a wider than expected loss, and smartphone shipments hit their lowest level in 8 years. But CEO John Chen says the worst is over. He's betting that consumers will come back for the Priv phone, a handset that runs on Android's operating system. I asked him why he's now working with Google.
The thing that has always hurt us is lack of an application ecosystem support. So in working with Google and being able to put our BlackBerry know-how into the latest operating system there, should appeal to a lot of people, especially professionals and more high-end consumer.
If your high-security customers embrace the Android phone, would you be convinced to stop selling, the BlackBerry operating system phones? What would it take to do that?
Oh, that's a great question. So first off, the BlackBerry 10 phone is still the most secure phone in the market. We have a lot of very high-end government users on that. We pledge to continue support of that. We actually have a new releases coming out in March of next year, and a software release that provide yet another level of security certification. So the government and the very regulated industry customers will be taken care of. Now, we will continue to develop security for the Android space, and there will be a time that the customer will say, okay, well, that I could accept or that I could certify, then we'll switch them over. But there is no particular timeline because we're comfortable on supporting the software updates on BlackBerry 10.
Now, John, we have to talk about revenue because you said it wouldn't fall below $500 million, and this quarter it came up short. How much lower can it go, or is this bottom? When does it ramp back up?
I made a statement today in the earnings call that I expect Q3 to uptick from the Q2 volume and Q4 to uptick from Q3. So you could call it a bottom, you could call it whatever, but that's what we expect to do. So we should see some uptick in the next 2 quarters.
John, you're really bullish about the potential for BlackBerry software, BlackBerry in cars, and I want to talk to you about this because, we saw with Volkswagen this week using software to deliberately cheat emission standards. Apple is reportedly pushing ahead on its own car. What role do you see for BlackBerry in cars going forward?
Car is a really big market because it's really about IoT, the Internet of Things. Car is kind of the first frontier of that. It interact with your phones and interact with your home Wi-Fi, and it obviously do anything from telematics to advanced driver assist to safety to controls and entertainment systems and so forth. So car is kind of all think about it as being a really big application itself. So a lot of people could make a lot of good business out of the connected car. We of course provide a lot of the basic operating systems environment into a car. Ford and Volkswagen, to name a few, and we have about 250 brands around the world. We think there's a good business there. We already do quite a bit of business there.
So how many cars does BlackBerry touch now, and what's the goal?
60 million is what the last count was. 60 on the road running around today. There is really no upper limit to the goal. Car also is a replaceable item. And then we will get from cars to other things like truck tracking and medical devices and asset management. So it's a pretty big space. Even